Today is Saturday, April 7th, 2024. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 46, Week 6.
2 shows a week, recap on Wednesday, listener feedback on Saturday. This is when we hand the reins over to the other super fans, check in with them, see what they thought about this most recent episode, how the season's progressing, and look for any predictions they might have for who might get voted out next, or who we should choose for our updated USB in the Fantasy League.
I need help.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of us do. This is an interesting crossroads, the timing of it, especially when we're on the precipice of an episode with a double elimination. So you could choose your USB and promptly lose them easier than normal.
Well, I think the only thing that I'm certain of is that no green for me.
No green, staying away from Sega.
Yeah.
Old Sega. Yes, they seem like they're potentially in jeopardy given how things played out.
We know that could change.
Sure.
But
And will at some point. Yeah, but when we're facing 2 more, what I expect to be random draws for teams, and then an elimination from each of those groups of 6, if it happens to break against Sega, then they're in trouble again. They could lose 2 more in this next episode.
That would be a smart move.
Yeah, go ahead and take a commanding lead. And since what did they demonstrate? It was hesitation. They hesitated just a little bit too long at that feast, answering questions for who they would give up. And it's like everything turned against them at that point. Oh, yeah, that and Tim, he kind of goofed the Voyager alliance. So he didn't make any friends or influence people because he bungled that and tried to play it off like he was just slow playing the whole thing. Well, I'm anxious to hear what the other super fans had to say. Looks like we got 14 folks checking in with us this week. Let's kick it off with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Well, here we go, guys. We're here. The old earn your merge, baby. And it was a doozy. Even though the outcome was just about unanimous, it was a very good episode. So I'm going to let out a great big woo! And see you later to the Aubrey lookalike, who I believe I said it in the Jabbic part 2 there, that being Mariah. Bye-bye. I think she showed her cards at Tribal, which you never want to do. I believe, now I could be wrong here, I think that they were going to get rid of Venus, because Venus was panicking, doing what Venus does, and she wanted to get rid of Charlie as the only guy on the team that didn't win the Earn the Merge there. And then you could see Q, Kevin, Tiffany, they all were starting to worry, Hunter even, until it got to Tribal, and when Mariah showed her hand that she was not in the gem vote and on the bottom, too late, see you later. Now, Mariah lost her vote because she played the shot in the dark. I have to go back. Who voted for Venus? My guess was in case Mariah did get safe there with that Venus was going to be the backup there in case Mariah was safe. I'll have to go back and watch that. Solid episode. Good on Yanu 3 on winning that challenge with the rest of those guys there with Tevin, Ben, and of course Hunter, the savage that he is, which by the way, I'm so glad Hunter found the idol there right before everyone else got there. He really needs it because I think he might be one of the ones on the chopping block next week with the double boot, because obviously he's the biggest threat physically. I'm sure he's going to realize that and play his idol. But I think Venus might be on the outs. She got to straighten it out. No one's going to trust Venus because she may be a scapegoat. Maria, clearly the thing with her and Tim wasn't working out. So I don't know what's going to happen down the road with that. She even said her and Charlie are the top two. But honestly, I'm a little worried about Tim here. And I think honestly, Kenzie, Tiff are in a good spot. Hugh, I might be in a good spot with the Journey crew, but I don't know. It depends on Tim, because I'm not content with Tim and Maria. I think he has something with Hunter and Tevin, and Tiff maybe, but not the other ones. And Q may be on the outs with Kenzie and Tiff too, based on the next on. A lot to look forward to, guys. I gotta see if Mariah knew she was going home, because it was clearly unanimous there too on her when I hear her interviews. But it was a very good episode now. Love that we're in the merge. Can't wait for the double boot. Take care. Woo.
Woo. Thanks, Pete. She did say that she knew in her exit interviews people were coming up to her before they went to tribal counseling going, 1 in 6. 1 in 6. Basically saying that she needs to consider shot in the dark. She's got a 1 in 6 chance of making it. I don't think they were taunting her or anything. They were just saying
use it.
That's what you're
It's
left
you.
with at this point. Yeah. And that was Charlie that threw that vote on Venus, and I guess that was just some payback in a way. It was a safety vote.
Yeah, it kept him safe, just in case she threw a vote at him. And it could be a little revenge because she was pushing for everybody to get him out.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he
So
vote
now the
for
first
her?
time she goes to tribal council, her name comes up in the
And
vote.
it may come up every time. So
Yeah.
now they change things from the normal New Age Survivor, right? They usually, when we go into a merge, 7 people have already been voted off, right? That's why you make me choose 7 people.
We
who
go early.
won't
Yeah.
make the merge.
Yeah.
But they merged early this time.
Earlier. Yeah. Seemed
So,
like it. Yeah.
What's that all about?
Probst likes that. Doesn't want you to think you absolutely know what's coming for the players.
Well, we have for a while now. But yeah, he does. Mm-hmm. But I wondered if
Keep
there
'em
was
on their toes.
some other reason or something. Okay, thanks, Pete. Up next, we got a call from Robert.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans, this is Robert from Canada calling in. Well, can we say that the tribes are officially merged now? I guess so, although next week they're going to split apart into smaller tribes and 2 people are going to go home. But there was a merge feast this week where at least some of the players got to eat, so I guess we can call them merged. Like you guys, I miss the more standard merge feast where everyone gets to eat. I just think it makes for more entertaining tribe dynamics, but we're in the new era where you gotta earn everything, so I don't see that changing anytime soon. Despite that, I really enjoyed this episode, and I thought that the immunity challenge was great. And it's funny how the tribes seemed lopsided to start. I didn't think it would play out like that because the puzzles tend to be such a big equalizer. So it was nice to see that it ended up being a pretty competitive, close challenge. And I think it was great that everyone had to participate in the puzzle. Obviously, if Hunter was just going to do it himself, it wouldn't have been as close. And speaking of that, did everyone notice how the editors very clearly drew attention to the fact that Tevin noted Hunter as being a puzzle master? I think that was very intentional foreshadowing, and Tevin's a pretty crafty player, and I wonder, he already knows that Hunter is a challenge beast, and now with the individual immunity up for grabs, they're going to have to start trying to take their shot to get Hunter out of the game, because if they wait too long, he's going to end up going on an immunity streak, and then at best he's going to make it into fire, and he's probably going to win fire and win the whole game. So I think they're going to have to get rid of him sooner rather than later. Especially they might have to take multiple shots considering he has a hidden immunity idol. I was happy to see Yanu this week get to enjoy the food reward, and it's nice to see their good luck continue. I was surprised that Venus didn't play her shot in the dark this week. I thought that was kind of strange. There must have been more conversations going on behind the scenes to make her so confident. She definitely didn't have a very flattering episode. For next week, I would say that Siga's in the most likely to be in danger. They have less numbers than Nami, and they lied to everyone about the unanimous vote. But with the tribe splits, we don't know how exactly that's going to play out. Now, interesting enough, Siga and Nami are very likely going to have the majority in the tribe splits versus Yanu. So I do think that makes Yanu potentially vulnerable. But I think I'm going to play it safe and keep Tim and Venus as my vote outs for next week. I think that's a safe bet, and playing it safe has worked for me so far in the side challenge, although I'm going to have to start playing more boldly. For my USB, I think I'm going to keep Tiffany as my USB. I don't think she necessarily has the best chance at winning the game, but I think she does have a good chance. I've been pretty happy with her overall. If I was going to change, I think I would change to either Hunter, Tevin, Maria, or Kenzie. I think any one of them has potential to win the game as well. But I look forward to hearing all the other fans' feedback, and if they're changing their USBs, who they're going to change to. And that's it for me. You guys just take care.
Thanks, Robert.
I was like, no, don't talk about Hunter going. I was considering him. Because I wanted to choose him in the beginning of the season, and I didn't. And kind of wished I had. But I think the only three that I'm looking at right now is Hunter, Tevin, and Tiffany. Not sure the others. Maria could, because they could start using, vote off another couple of Seagull and then use the other Seagull to try to bump off some of the NAMI people and, so, but, I haven't decided either. Oh, and Robert was talking about the merge. Absolutely, they are merged. Jeff said so and handed them the bag of buffs for the additional 6 people at the end of Tribal. So they are indeed merged. And you said they broke into 2 tribes. Actually, they're just breaking into 2 teams.
Yeah, I think people just use those
do that
words
all the time. And the
interchangeably
reason
at
I
this
heard
point.
that is because Stacy, I will say that over and over, and he will correct me every time. And I'll go, you know what I mean. I mean the teams, not tribes. But we're used to tribes, so that just comes out. So.
Okay.
But I will point that out just because I do hear you.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Becky calling from the basement here in Northern California.
Becky from
on
the
this
basement.
fine, chilly day. For the second week in a row, going into Tribal Council, I realized the only 2 names being floated about are 2 of my safe points. So I am decidedly in dead last place. And I'm beginning to think that I can't choose well because this is my excuse. I'm in school, and in my craft writing course, I'm currently writing 1 fiction piece and 1 nonfiction piece, as in novels, a memoir and a novel. So my brain time is just really being consumed. And in my advanced middle age, there's only so much bandwidth to go around. So that's why I'm so bad at Survivor right now. Let's see, not a fan of Murgatory. I am not a fan of Murgatory. I feel like in the new era where they're like, you have to earn everything. You have no food, you have no flint, and you don't have a reward for making it to the merge. You have to fight your way into the merge. It just feels a tad bit sadistic at times. I liked when they got rewarded for making it to the merge. I loved when they got the big feast and everyone got a little drunk and sloppy. I found that to be more entertaining than Murgatory. Well, going into this week, I have to pick my new USB. And I'm not really sure if the +1 alliance is going to be the way to go, or could it be somebody who's going to be a little bit more under the radar, like Maria or Charlie? I feel like Hunter and Tevin and Tiffany, they're going to be these great, big, amazing threats that are just going to knock each other out. And it's going to be somebody who's on a slightly different tier, who's going to just be playing more under the radar. That's my feeling, but I'm not sure who to go with. That being said, Hunter and Tevin and Tiffany are really my favorites. I think they're incredible. They're so much fun to watch play. They have such personality. They have such strength. Especially, oh God, Tevin's personality, Hunter's strength, Tiffany's everything. I would love to pick one of them as my new USB, but I think they're going to knock each other out in the end. I have a question about Mariah in Tribal Council. What was up? This is what I need to say, but that's all I'm going to say. It was like she sealed her own fate. Instead of saying, I could be a vote for you. I would like to play with other people. I'm up for grabs. She just kind of pointed out that she was on the bottom, and that was it. And I found it perplexing. I wasn't sure what she was going for, and I was not surprised when she was voted out. Well, I am on my way to Napa. It's chilly here in Northern California. I'm looking forward to a nice, sunny, but cold ride. Hearing everybody else's feedback, I'd especially like to hear from the 1,000 of us who lost their USB and Jen. Who are you picking as your new USB? Especially you, Joanne and Stacy. Who are you guys picking as your new USB? Inquiring minds want to know. I hope everyone has a beautiful Saturday. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. Everyone have a great day.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah, I think, of course, I've already said the same three she did, but I also think that if Charlie and Maria could survive, that one of them might have a chance. If they survive the Sega massacre, I think, is coming.
Yes.
You know, I could see that the remaining two could be brought in and utilized. And I think that they're smart enough to do it, and especially Maria.
Yes.
And
Charlie's pretty sharp, too.
yeah, he is.
They've lost their agency right now, so that's how it feels. At least you've got to somehow build an alliance in response to what just happened. They're thinking, oh, we lost Mariah, she was already on the outside anyway, but really the game is shifting in an irreparable way beyond them, especially if they lose two in this next pass. At that point, whoever's left has the opportunity to fall under the radar, because then the Yanu 3 are going to shift their focus to the Namis.
Well, if you get down to the Yanu 3, and then there's, say, 3 of the old Nami left, then they may want to utilize, keep a couple of Segas around to utilize to get control.
Yeah, to start cleaning house of the Namis.
I could see that they could survive.
Yeah.
Is because they're going to want to get rid of old Nami's numbers at one point, too, once they get Sega down enough. At least I would think that would be the Yanu strategy.
Who do you think has the most opportunity for social capital? Who's already building their social capital? Maybe it's easier to say who's not building their social capital.
Venus.
Venus is not.
Tim is not.
Doesn't seem like Tim's sailing
Ben is
smooth.
not. Even Q is not, in my opinion.
He's not, yeah. And the Tiffany Kinsey reaction in the next on is highlighting that.
I don't know what she's doing. I think she has the ability, but I don't know what she's doing. Well, I don't think she's been featured enough. Tevin obviously has it, and he's been working as soon as they hit the island. So
yeah.
He's definitely working.
He was all about, I see you, give me a hug.
And I think probably Tiffany and Kinsey are as well.
I wish we got to see them working a little more.
Yeah, you just
They were
kind of see a little bit, and
reacting.
so I think they are. But I even think Hunter's doing way better than I thought he would.
Yeah, it's not. You can tell it's not his forte, but he's
doing it.
Yeah, and when he's telling Q. That's good, because he and Q are probably both rough socially, but they can have that conversation. And so we saw Hunter telling Q that Liz hates Soda and Soda hates Venus. And so there's your order for how things can go. And then how does, Nami's going to have to save themselves. And they won't listen to Venus, even if she does see it come or get wind of it, because they're going to be they're already so eager to drop Venus that it just won't matter, even if she does see a train coming at them. And
they could upset their own order of wanting to get rid of Sega just to get rid of Venus. If she annoys them too much, then I think they'll just go, I don't care. Let's get her out of here. I don't want to hear another word.
Tevin was ready.
Yeah.
He knows he's got an extra vote to cover at least one round without her. So.
Yeah. So,
Good stuff. Thanks, Becky. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. I'm not sure if I'm willing to put up with Banu in the opening credits. I might just rather not have opening credits.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm really impressed at how everybody is getting to open the lockbox to the idol. I mean, these challenges are not easy, and they're doing it in front of everybody, and it just shows that we're lucky that the quitters don't find the clues. Go Hunter. Go Hunter. I like the lead up to whatever challenge this is, where the drone flies through everything, and it has the voices music like at the beginning of The Shining when the helicopter's flying through everything. And I can't wait to hear Jeff say, "Come on in, guys." It's kind of like the Banu moment in the opening. I'm sorry. Gosh, I love this show. I like how hero Jeff says, "I'm not predictable. You're gonna form into two tribes and battle each other." Remember when Jeff used to only say the rules once and you really had to listen closely? Now it's kind of like, okay, first tribe to get to the next element of the challenge. Jeff is going to give you a tutorial in real time. Soda has agita. Yeah, she's feeling some strange things now. Soda has agita, and I'm so glad her background story ends there for the time being. And then there's the scene right before they leave for tribal council. I think there's a question of whether they have their nails done, and I'm quite certain of it. They have hair and makeup. I mean, Banu's beard was so nicely trimmed. Do you think that was just because of his sterling qualities? And their teeth look great. I mean, they look better coming out than going in. Whoever does the hair and makeup, they're a valued member of the team. They're probably the same people that set up the course, do the dream team, fetch Jeff's Fiji water from probably Europe or New Zealand. But there was a scene of all of them in the camp where they each had their little glory shot. And that was great. And I'd like to see that as the opening credits. Nothing wrong with that. Great footage, CBS. Manicurists, hair and makeup, wardrobe. Wow, Venus dips her torch into the fire and does her best imitation of Elsbeth. I think Venus is going home. Do y'all remember Star Search? It was a singing show. It was a talent show with Ed McMahon. It was huge. But they couldn't fill the whole show with singing or talent. So they also had something called the spokesmodel. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting seeing Venus at Tribal Council. So it's nice to envision she's got a bright future ahead. I mean, she can be introducing Banu. Banu needs to be working for her. What am I talking about? Well, it's not Venus. Reading the votes. Yeah, reading the votes. Yeah, Mo, Mo, Mo. How do you like me? Off the show. Now you strike me. I gotta go. Have a great week, everyone.
All right, Chris, on a roll.
Thanks, Chris. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Mary in Maryland. Hello, everyone. I missed a couple weeks giving feedback as I was traveling with my kids for spring break trips. I enjoyed listening to everyone else's feedback on my travels, though. I have greatly enjoyed the start of post-Banu gameplay. It was fun to see how the relationship shifted with the focus finally off of his wailing and now with the merge. Going back to last week, my heart was in my throat as I watched the challenge where Q hit the winning target for Yanu. I felt like I do when watching my son's dance competitions. I could hardly watch for fear of seeing them not make it and having to deal with disappointment. The joy and relief when they finally won were palpable. Speaking of challenges, this week was terrific. Everyone put in their best effort, and I didn't see anyone slacking. It was awesome to watch both teams working together so well and for it to come so close in the end. Q was entertaining to me this week. He sure is working all angles. I was surprised that we didn't get any explanation about why Maria used her 2 votes to get out Jim. What went into her decision to vote out one of the women rather than Tim or Ben, or explaining any of that to Mariah? Maybe next week we'll learn more. I love the scene where Q asked Maria if Tim told her about the alliance of 6 formed on the journey, and she was totally surprised that Tim named her as his number 1, saying he's at best her number 3. I'm imagining what Tim thought as he watched them at home, seeing that the parent connection wasn't as strong as he thought it was. Venus simply has no subtlety or finesse when it comes to building relationships or making connections. I understand she's glad to finally be able to have the opportunity to make inroads with other players and step up her game, but she's going about it too aggressively and her interactions are abrasive. Either the whole tribe is going to want to get rid of her, or she'll make it to the end because no one will want to vote for her to win. I think I'll keep my USB Charlie. While he's not as strong as I initially thought he'd be, he's been smart and subtle enough to keep him as my pick, and not lose my potential for points. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Glad to see my favorite Tevin staying under the radar. I hope to continue watching him for a long while. Liz, too, seems fairly under the radar, and I swear she may also be in
Fear.
I fear... What did I say?
Swear.
I fear she may also be in the third finalist no-vote spot. She does have that vibe. Hunter is doing an amazing job with challenges and finding idols, but he is so clearly amazing that I don't think he'll make it much further. Tiffany has been smart and strong and not making herself too obvious. I have high hopes for her. I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone else has to say. Thanks, Mary. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Anderson.
Hey, Joanna, Stacey, this is Anderson from North Carolina calling in with my feedback. And from my thoughts on this episode, how lopsided the challenge was so funny. And then somehow the orange team got so close but lost. And my USB, not so great this episode. Double elimination next week, so I think Q has to go. Kenzie and Tiff are definitely going to plot against him. He's been trying to pull the strings, so I might have him going, and I might even have to take my USB because I saw my USB scrambling next time on. Thanks. This is Anderson from North Carolina.
Good job, Anderson.
All right. Yeah. Awesome job.
So Anderson's thinking about Q and Venus. Yeah, I can see that, and especially since Q is evidently getting on Kenzie and Tiffany's nerves. They've had to be very patient with Q for a long while now and put up with a lot of his shenanigans. And you could see now that they have other options too, how they could easily be thinking a different route. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanna and Stacey. It's David in Pittsburgh. And I thought the last episode of Survivor was a good one, but compared to the week before with the Yanu win and the whole storyline around Jem, I just didn't think it matched that episode, but I enjoyed it. Actually, I always find that when I listen to your podcast the next day and then often go back and rewatch the episode, it is more understandable to me. The one thing I thought at the time was, why did Mo get voted out? But looking back on it now, it makes more sense. Even though she knew she was out of the loop with the last vote and everyone had lied to her, she made the decision to trust the devil you know and stuck with her team. And actually, that might have worked if the teams on this immunity challenge had been shuffled differently. She possibly could have made it through, but with Ben and Tim doing such an ineffectual job of trying not to give out a name, she really was sunk. She didn't have a strong ally. She would have done better to go with anyone on another team and say, I'm a vote, use me, but I think she made a decision. In this case, it just didn't work for her. It's now time for me to pick a new USB, and my last one left. He actually left me with nothing except my heart. And so I'm picking Tevin. He was the one I originally wanted right from the beginning. And I just thought maybe he was a little too out there for the tribes, and that the one I did pick was a little more subdued. Well, we see where that got me. I think Tevin will go far in the game, but I don't think he'll win, but I'm going to stick with him anyway. He's paired up with Hunter, who is his +1. He's in the Journey 6 alliance, and he's got an extra vote. But the way he was ready to throw Soda, who had been really close to them in the beginning, under the bus, kind of concerns me, and I'm wondering if he'll end up thinking about doing the same thing to Hunter. And for next week with the double boot, usually one of the ones that goes out is a big player, so I'm going to pick Kenzie. I thought before that too many people have been forewarned about her, and the fact that the last tribal council she was safe. Let's see what happens when she's not safe. And the other one I'm going to pick is Tim. Who knows why? I just don't think he's playing that great a game. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, David. Good job. Yeah, can totally see that. Wouldn't that be an interesting final three if it ended up being Hunter, Tevin, and Tiffany? Who do you think wins that?
Wow. Well, a lot of it depends on what happens between now and then. I would like to say Hunter because of his physicality, and I just like him. But
I would be really worried going up against Tiffany.
Or Tevin, really. It depends on...
I think Tiffany crushes Tevin. he's going to try and go dramatic, and then she would just talk circles.
Sit him down.
She'll talk circles around him and then really educate him about what all was really going on, because she's got more hard-won experience in the game, and we can see how fast she can think, how clever she is. That, she's formidable in that group.
Well, and I think she's a big challenge threat as well going forward.
Yeah, certainly she's been a contributor. Nobody's there on the scale of Hunter, so...
No.
Yeah, I totally get people thinking that he's going to go.
Yeah, that's why at some point they'll start to turn their focus on him, but maybe he can win them all.
Could be.
Well, never quite seen that happen before, so probably not.
Oh, Mike Holloway, he really did. He just crushed it. He won his way to the end when the odds were against him. So it's certainly been done before. Thanks, David. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and I'm baffled by the end of this episode. I had Mariah safe. I had Venus as the vote out. So I was pretty confident through the whole episode. Yes, Mo's name was out there, and I was, all right, that's not great, but come on, Venus. She just kept digging her hole deeper and deeper and deeper. While I don't think Venus did any favors for herself, at the end of the day, the fact that Nami was so apparent in their cracks saved them from losing a number, which is so ironic. I almost thought that they would self-destruct, and it would be Soda and Tevin gunning for Venus here, and not how it ended up being, where it was the two opposing tribes and then Yanu in the middle. That was a really interesting dynamic when Nami is so dysfunctional. But I guess at the end of the day, they were, for this tribal, maybe the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And so it's just not what I would have predicted would happen at all, which made it really exciting to watch. And I wish that we got more post-challenge stuff. I wish that they shortened that getting to know each other phase, even though there was some really good stuff there, some really interesting dynamics happening there that didn't need the, oh, what's going to happen? I have no idea. What do you guys think is going to happen? We're not merged yet. We're in limbo. You know what's going to happen. Come on, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, Tim. Don't say in your confessional you don't know. Well, who knows what's going to happen? We're not merging. You know, Tim. You know. It's the new era. It's the same thing every freaking time. Anyway, so I didn't need that, but it would have been nice to have more before tribal, because there's just so much going on, and I feel like a lot of it got left out, which would have made it more interesting and maybe paint a better picture of why Mo went at the end and why Siga ended up turning on Mo. Maybe because she spilled the beans at tribal. I have no idea. A lot of that's really up in the air, and that would be stuff that maybe we could have found out if they gave more time to the pre-tribal. But I think they also wanted it to kind of be like a blindside to the viewer, because Venus was the obvious vote, because they just love doing stuff like that. They love blindsiding the viewer, which it's not my favorite thing. At the end of the day, Siga presenting themselves as this big happy family ended up to their detriment when Nami, super dysfunctional, turned out to be the best thing for them. So pretty ironic. Next week we got the split. It looks like, again, by the way that those dog houses were in the water, looks like they were split up between color, sectioned off. So I'm assuming it's just like last season, where congratulations, you're merged now. Okay, let's split you guys up again, which I hate when they do that. I'd love for there to be an actual merge vote for once, but it's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, that's all I got. I will see you all next time.
Thanks, Parker.
Yeah, I can't wait to see if Maria will actually offer up a plan and a deal to Q for that final six with her and Charlie.
Now that she knows what's up. Yeah.
Yes. I think
definitely cut Tim out of the loop.
Yeah. And, she could make a point that he's got more of a connection with Tevin and Hunter. Okay, fine, bring them along, but take me and Charlie. We're more solid, and then we can all pick off the people we don't need. And then we go into the finale with the numbers. Of course, Q and Tiffany are going to want to hang on to Kinsey and utilize her, and the others probably will want to have somebody they can utilize too, but that's neither here nor there. But I could see that he might go for that. I don't know about the girls, but Q might.
Yeah, if she's on top of her game, I think that's spot on. Maria needs to start making the rounds and saying, I would have totally jumped on that deal, but Tim didn't bring it to me. You surprised me. So.
And he wasn't really my number one person. He said I was his, but he wasn't mine.
He just doesn't have a grasp on the game. Let's do this instead.
That's the hesitation you felt from me.
Right.
Is that with Tim, Charlie, no problem. He is.
Man, is that challenging to figure out while you're out there?
Now, though, you know?
Yeah.
You got to weigh it between, do I reveal that or do I keep it quiet, or what's my pitch going to be?
Yeah.
But I just am anxious to see if she will do something.
So tricky.
I do like her.
Yeah, she's demonstrated some aptitude for the game for sure. And you look at what just happened to Mariah. She didn't catch on quick enough to react.
Right.
She didn't have it.
Too little, too late.
She wasn't clear that she needed to be doing something different until she got to tribal. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joe and Stacey and Tours 5 fans. Hope everyone is well and safe. I thought the episode was rather average, and I'll talk about why later, but I do want to focus on Mo. I felt bad for her, but you have to look at her exit in the lens of what happened before Jem left and what happened afterwards. And I think she was a victim of circumstance to begin with before Jem. I don't think she could have done a lot to be on the wrong side of the vote. I can't see any permutation where she would have been keyed in. Because if she was keyed in, she would have then thought that she was part of the 5, and she wouldn't have thought of being expendable, or the others thinking that she was expendable. Because leading in, I thought they were going to be Seeger strong. They were going to pull her in after Jem left. But it was rather strange. They looked at her as a expendable piece, if you will, and they didn't care that they were going to be Seeger strong heading into Mergatory. So I found that quite strange. I thought you'd want to keep strength. And the fact that they were so willing to let another one of their people go in Mergatory too, I found that quite weird. So I don't know how she lost that trust. Was it just, again, being a victim of circumstance? Or did something else happen? And the way to explain that is what she did afterwards. And I think this is where she's at fault. So little errors, talking to Q about her game style and what she dropped in Tribal, I felt was just very odd. It was someone that was clearly scrambling. And again, I think it just really solidified everyone wanting to pile to vote on. Because as I said last week, Venus was the clear pile-on vote if you wanted to pile on someone, because it happens most seasons. You'll see 1 or 2 episodes in after a Mergatory where someone will get the pile-on vote. But I thought it'd be Venus because she was a wild card. Didn't happen. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but Mo made some mistakes after that. And she could have controlled that. I felt like she wasn't in control for when Jem left and she was blindsided, but she was clearly in control afterwards, and she just made too many mistakes. Now, am I a fan of this Mergatory? No. I've talked about it for 5-6 seasons now. I hate it. It doesn't give good socialization. It's just very broken, I feel. I just miss the days where you got the feast and you got to see everyone socialize, and you got little bits of information from that too, and then everyone was exposed. You had one person that would be immune, and then the rest were just out there to fend for themselves, and you get so many more exciting moments out of that. I really miss that. I don't mind what's going to happen next week. I do believe, from the looks of it, that it's a wave structure of sorts for balancing, so we'll see. And a little final tidbit, the Sporkle quiz thing that you talked about there last week, Stacey, I've been doing those for 10-15 years. I think I've got like a 13-year badge account on Sporkle, and I have trained myself probably once or twice a year on Survivor winners, so that was quite interesting for you to bring up. Thanks for that. Cheers.
That's cool. Sparkle connection. Mariah said in one of the exit interviews that I read or watched that she had a heads up to some degree on the Jem vote, because what they told her was that it's not you're okay, but she clearly didn't dig enough to find out, because the obvious next question is, okay, who are we voting for? And she didn't get the memo. So that
should have told her a whole lot.
Way back then, yeah, that she needed to start moving in different directions.
I think she was just in denial. She didn't want to be on the end of the at the tail end of the tribe. So.
She also said when she had that conversation with Q and she mentioned Aubrey, that he mentioned Jeremy.
Was the person he
liked.
His person.
Yeah, so that he wanted to play like. So. Anyway, someone else talks about that.
Yes,
I won't spend any
Q
time on it.
wasn't seeing that from that point of view.
Well, the editors chose to do that.
They chose to show it a certain
That's just
way.
the power of the edit.
Yes.
That's a great example of it. Thanks again, Shahin. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, it was another New Era Merge episode. Lots of strategy talk, but conservative tribal lines action. A random rock draw that seemed like anything but an on-the-bottom player being dogpiled out of the game. Consuming the episode was a lot like eating sugar-free candy. Did it make you gassy afterwards? My other observations. Q wants to cancel Christmas. Cancel culture has gone way too far. To cut cost, future merge meals will be leftovers from production's base camp. Q, that cheese looked like it was leftover, huh? That must have been one of those fancy cheeses. It looked funky.
It could have been blue cheese for all I know, but it looked a little funky.
Q is a my way or the highway guy, but there are no highways on small Fijian islands. 3-word episode summary. No mo mo.
No mo mo.
That's good. I like that one. Yanu rekindled their fire in 3 seconds, just in time to drop their buffs. Yep. Hunter took the key steps needed to collect the Beware idol. Has anyone translated Tevin's non-English phrase? No, not even close.
Not sure anyone could.
Yes. What was that mushroom-shaped object that Hunter dug up? Yeah, that was interesting. It was like the key was supposed to be attached to that little knob, but it wasn't.
It wasn't? I thought it
no,
was.
because he kept
or
digging.
Or that maybe it was in it or something. Or maybe it was just a heads up. Yeah, dig
indicator.
Here. Keep digging.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
I don't know.
Kinsey, in Survivor, being a non-stick pan is better than being a rusty cast iron skillet. The Buffless team got bupkis. Simple physics lesson. Soda flows downhill easily. Pushing soda uphill is tough. Tim's a coach. Does he just sit and watch the game, then analyze the tape later? When Venus gets intense, she has wild chihuahua eyes. That's awesome. Wild chihuahua eyes. Yeah, I can see her yapping too.
She would not be happy.
No, she would not appreciate that.
You'd get the chihuahua eyes.
Uh-huh. Tim's +1 is a Tim. Awkward. Venus says she has power in the game. Does it involve munching on tin cans? Goat munch? Yeah, that was good. If Tim was a watchdog, he'd be the type that watches and listens while burglars burgle. Yes, it does feel that way. He's got the basset hound eyes to go with all that. Venus is social, strategic, strong, aggressive, smart, crafty. Who wants a capable ally? Are the Journey 6 fans of Journey's 6th album? Can Ben or Charlie name its songs? If you lie to Q, you're toast. If you tell him a truth he doesn't like, you're toast. Ben has mediums and psychics in his family. This is my shocked face. The episode showed her so much, its title should have been The Mo Show. I love that everyone had to work on the puzzle. The orange team's pre-challenge height roll call cracked me up. Yeah, that was good. Did anyone notice that Venus was relatively mud-free after the crawl? I didn't see that. I wonder if Hunter built this puzzle at home. Ben, don't shred your buff. It'll fall apart. On the plus side, Orange's loss kept Liz safe from Merge Feast food allergens. There you go. It was all about protecting her. At the feast, Kinsey felt like a Greek goddess. I don't recall any of them having tattoos. Yeah. New Survivor rule, being knowledgeable is worse than being shisty. Check. Tim told Mo he protected her by throwing her name out. Q wants to send Venus back to Canada. He's rich, but can he afford the postage? Saying it's about to get messy doesn't bode well if you've just had a mud challenge. Q told Mo not to mute herself. Is that because it's the tribe's job to mute her? The 1 in 6 shot in the dark is now 1 for 10. Just saying. Mo's good news, bad news. She lost the game, but everyone spelled her name right. Tiffany named her idol Adelicia. Pre-merge, Nami's name for their tiki idol was Nami's idol. Next time, scramble mode, 2 tribe members go home. Will individual games finally start? No. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanna and Stacy. This is Jade.
And Christine.
From Hawaii.
Aloha.
So we just watched the episode. We haven't listened to the recap yet, but we wanted to get our feedback in this week. So what was your overall impressions?
Oh, it was exciting. So much happened. Yes, it was pretty much the same as last season with the way that they drew the rocks. The odd person out had to choose. And oh boy, I was surprised at how it turned out with the guys on one side and Charlie's Angels on the other. Charlie and his Angels.
They did okay, though. They kind of held their own. They did pretty well. They didn't win, of course, but I was surprised at how close it was.
Yeah, they had that teamwork going for them.
Yeah.
Cooperation.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. What did you think about Mo's journey with questioning whether to stick with Siga or not?
Yeah, Mo. So I thought that she had a moment where she could have flipped if she was going to flip when she had that conversation with Q. It's kind of hindsight is 2020, but that definitely would have been the time to flip if she was going to. And it seemed like at Tribal she was just kind of just desperate and floundering at that moment.
Yes, last ditch effort there. But even if you were saying earlier, even if she had flipped, she would have been at the bottom of that alliance too. So there was really nowhere for her to go. I feel like she was in a really difficult situation, and I think it was smart to try and break up Siga, but now they just have a type 4 instead of a type 5, so I don't know if they made much of a difference there. Yeah, but we had a question about idols. So we know Hunter got his idol. His idol is secret. No one knows, as far as we know, right? But we couldn't remember if Q knows about Tiffany's idol, because Kenzie does, right? Kenzie does for sure.
Kenzie was there when
she found it.
She found it and
when she found the Beware advantage. But Q, I can't remember if he knows or not. So if you all could help us out, that'd be great.
Yeah, I wish I knew, because I really wanted to put Tiff as my new USB.
Yeah.
And I think she's playing pretty well. If Q doesn't know about her idol, I think that would be a plus in her favor. But I kind of wanted to go with Tiff. How about you?
I think
Who
that's
are you
a
going to
good
go
pick.
with?
Yeah, I think I'm doing Maria. I like her. I think she can play under the radar enough, but she can still make some strong moves. She's got a lot of options when it comes to alliances. So her social game is strong. I think I'm going to go with Maria. We'll see what happens when I actually put my picks in. But we have no idea what's going to happen next week. It looks really chaotic.
Yes, they're going to do that thing where they split into 2 tribes.
I think so, yeah.
2 people go home, 2 people win.
Hate that.
And I didn't like that last time.
It's just impossible to make our picks. So we're hoping to get some advice from everyone else.
Yes, we need your advice. Please help. Thanks.
Thanks, Jade-n-Christine. I'm pretty sure Q knows, because he took Tiffany's note and gave that to Jess with the fake idol that they gave Jess. So I'm pretty sure he's all clued in on Tiffany's immunity idol, that he knows that she actually has it. Yeah, I can see going with Maria. She's going to have an opportunity to go into the background as long as she doesn't end up targeted in this next round. I think her threat profile drops. She had a good interaction with Q. It didn't throw off any alarms to him that we're aware of, and so that would have got translated back. Hopefully the mess that Tim made isn't left on her in that regard. I guess that's a possibility, but we didn't see anything that suggested that. So I could see choosing Maria as a new USB.
She would probably be the top of my list of anyone from Siga.
She certainly...
Though Charlie could, but I would think she would be less threatening.
Yes. Yeah, and she did a good job of baffling Mariah. So Mariah and Jim thought they were in a tight alliance with her. But that did not end up being the case.
Yeah. And she seems calm and laid back, whether she is or not inside. She does a really good job of projecting
Got that outward chill.
Yeah. And I think that could help her as well. I would not vote for Ben or Tim.
Their prospects do not seem good.
They may even, they may be the two to go if it works out that way with the two going home next week.
Yeah.
If they do take out two Siga, I would think that they would be targeted first.
Yeah, they just did not fare well at that merge feast, the exchange. I think the others did not leave that thinking highly of either of them.
No, I think they kind of wrote them off at that point. So, yes, I could see one of the other two way more than Tim or Ben.
Thanks, Jade-n-Christine. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor friends. Jeremiah here with some feedback for this week's episode. Another episode that I thought was pretty solid. We are definitely on track, I feel like, now. And man, that mergatory can be really tough, and it certainly was for poor Mo in this week's episode. Yeah, she really got a tough break for sure. She made a joke about the fact that maybe she shouldn't have mentioned how her favorite player was Aubrey, but Q admitted that his favorite player was Jeremy to her in the same conversation. And last time I checked, Jeremy was the winner. So, but yeah, she was just in a tough spot. I mean, she was on the bottom of her tribe. She was an option. I mean, sure, she made a few mistakes here and there, especially with her conversations with Q, that maybe could have helped her out, but man, that's one position you don't want to be in during the mergatory. Overall, there wasn't anything really particular that I wanted to talk about as far as the episode's concerned. I thought, like I said, it was a pretty good episode. I thought I'd mostly focus on what we have coming ahead of us. So obviously next week we have this splitting tribe thing that they've been doing for a while. And once again, I will always say that I don't understand why we have this whole mergatory where you got to earn your way to the merge, and then the first thing you do, you split them up into two tribes. It just makes no sense. And it obviously it's got to suck for the players. I mean, really, now you got to get through the mergatory and you got to get through this whole split thing. And if you do that, then I really feel like luck is on your side after that, because this is a difficult thing to do. And of course, for us playing JSFL, it makes it very difficult to figure out who is going to go out, since we're not sure how the tribe's going to be split and all those good things. So right now, the way I look at it is, I mean, you definitely have to think that Venus is on the outs. I still think Soda is kind of on the outs. I think they don't trust her. We got that information from earlier episodes, so she could be a target. And I know they're kind of teasing that maybe Q will be a target, and that makes a lot of sense as well. So those three players are probably one of those three I'm probably going to go with as far as my number 1 and number 2 picks as far as who's going to go out. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards right now. And then the other big question everyone has, of course, is, hey, we can pick a new USB. Who should I go with? Now, of course, I have Tiffany. Tiffany is in a pretty good spot from what I can tell right now. I'm not too concerned about her. Do I feel like she's going to win? Maybe. Last season, I had Kelly at this point, and it was really tough for me to give up Kelly with 24 points, even though I had kind of similar feelings where I'm up and down on whether or not I think she can win. So obviously, I'm going to hold on to her, but I know a lot of people are wondering, who would I go with? So right now, obviously, Tiffany and Kinsey are in a really good spot, and you got Tevin and Hunter are in a pretty good spot on their old tribes. And then on Siga, I mean, I still like Charlie and Maria. So who would I go with? Well, right now, I think I'd still go with Kinsey. That's who I am telling everybody to get their winner pick. So there's my 2 cents on that. And that's it for me. You all take care. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremiah. I wonder how much they poisoned, that Banu's comments poisoned Kinsey. We haven't seen a lot of social interaction with her to see what people think of her.
They may not be showing it.
True.
The edit.
They're definitely highlighting Q. He was the one leading the charge.
Yeah.
This past round.
I'm not sure Q is going to make it, but he's just being too bossy in my opinion. But if I were you, Jeremiah, I wouldn't get rid of Tiffany.
No, wouldn't switch.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
No, the potential's too high right now.
Yeah.
Especially somehow they got lucky and dodged it. If they do that again, they could potentially get another pass this next round.
Mm-hmm.
The Yanu 3 somehow escape unscathed, and she's sitting on an idol, and
yeah, they still look good.
And she's letting Q run interference up front and making enemies.
Now, I do not see them actually, regardless of the next on, I don't see the girls getting rid of Q right now. that could be suicide.
It would seem
It's
to be
too soon.
Yeah, they don't have it yet.
Will they do it? I don't doubt that they might if that's what works out best for them and they get that close to the end, then sure.
Yeah, so we're after this next episode we'll be at 10. So you need 6 to run it. So, yeah, they still have a lot of work to do.
You would need 7 to run it, wouldn't you?
At 10?
At 10, there's
Yeah.
12 people in the game. Oh, you said
This is the
after
challenge with
this
you
one.
hearing me.
After.
Yeah.
Hey, I am drugged. The antibiotics are a little...
Yeah.
So, it just
It's
caught
too-
up to what you
too,
actually
too
said.
soon. I think it's too soon to do, too early to do that. They need the numbers to be ready to shift in their favor.
Though the girls might, if Tiffany and if Yano 3 got toward the real close to the end, they might decide the girls might decide to try to pick off each other because they wouldn't see Q as big a threat to win. Maybe
You're saying Tiffany and Kenzie would square off?
yeah, that they could. Instead of going after Q, because at that point, if they're really close to the end, if they were playing a better game and people were annoyed with Q because he was also trying to run everybody else's business too, then they could take him to the end with them, saying, "Man, nobody's going to vote for him. He's already made too many people upset." So anyway.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
another option.
Yeah, all right. You got us thinking as usual. Thanks, Jeremiah. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. And as Pete would say, woo! In the end of the episode, when Mariah was voted out, I wrote in my notes, I can't believe my luck. I haven't wanted to talk about it for fear that I would jinx myself, but I'm in first place in JSFL, and I can't believe it. It's like I have a Survivor Magic 8 Ball or something. I can't explain it, and I don't imagine this good luck is going to last forever, so I need to revel in my good fortune while it lasts, because it's not going to last. So I just wanted to say that, because I'm very excited about it. It's very cool to be in first, but I think this week is going to put a dent in my score, because the group will be split up, and we have to choose 2 vote outs. This is my least favorite twist. I want to see big vote numbers. I want to see 2 large factions fighting it out. And in this new era with only 26 days rather than 39, they spend so much time in small groups. Oh well, we'll see what my Survivor Magic 8 Ball tells me this week. I also need to choose a new USB because, like so many, I lost Jem. And I'm thinking I'm going with Hunter. I think he will be fun to root for, and he's as good a pick as any. I'm going with my gut on this one. My mind just keeps coming back to him as I think about the game. So here are my thoughts on the episode. I thought that the tribes, you have value to us, comments to Mariah after the vote out was so superficial. I think she should not have kept up the lie when they merged about the fact that they had a unanimous vote. Instead, I think she should have thrown Maria under the bus. She should have said, look, they say it's a unanimous vote, but it wasn't. I'm on the bottom, and if you want to take out a player from Siga, you need to take out a big player, and I think Maria would be perfect. She had nothing to lose, and her last-ditch effort was just too little too late. I'm jumping around here, but I'm with you, Joanne. I hate the fact that only half of them get the merge feast. I think that the absence of the feast for half of them is not a good evolution of the game. It's fine to tell the losers that they're the only vulnerable ones at tribal councils, but feed them all. They can call this earn the merge all they want, but the tribes are merged, and they should all be rewarded for that. And I also agree with you, Joanne, that I do not like that net slide on challenges, and I cringe every time they use that instead of different kinds of slides. It's fine to use it as a ladder, but that net is so precarious as a slide. I was waiting for somebody to take an awkward tumble down the slide that would really injure them. No bueno. I liked the creative use of the giant ball in the challenge. If you're not going to make them roll it all around, make the players have to climb up it to get to the puzzle. My gosh, that was kind of funny. But it was a beautifully painted ball, the purple one. And on a final note, I don't think that Tim is playing with much finesse. I think he's really sunk his ship. He dropped the ball on the +1 alliance. He didn't put in a good showing at the merge feast. Ben didn't either, for that matter. And another one that I think is faltering is Q. He's very prone to offering constructive criticism and coaching people at tribal council. I don't know why he does that. It can be very off-putting, and my alarm bells would be going off about him. And from the next time on Survivor, it looks like the alarm bells are going off. That's it for me till next week when we get to discuss episode several, otherwise known as episode 7.
Yeah, they did do that to Jelinski several for the name of the next one. I can't imagine how someone says episode several. One of the castaways. I get, and we eventually did go back and find Q saying cancel Christmas.
Yes, and it was very difficult.
But how is someone going
to find it?
Yeah, it was. For some reason, I was blind to it.
We watched twice and still did, so we had to go back again.
Realized we still didn't catch it.
And just search for it.
Yeah.
So.
Somehow I was turning him off when he was saying that. How is someone there? You have to like break the fourth wall to reference the idea of the episode as a castaway playing the game on day 14 and day 15. That just seems unlikely. I got to think that's going to come in some other way.
I could see that Jeff could make reference to it for some reason.
Maybe.
He could be the one to say something about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that seems most likely.
It's, episode 7. It's like, meh.
Because they got no idea while they're out there how it's going to break up.
It seems kind of lame, but okay, whatever.
Well, they're having fun with it, thanks to Jelinski and his interesting definitions. Thanks, Jen. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here. Okay, the thing that impressed me most in this episode was the puzzle that everyone had to participate in. I liked that. The fact that it was divided into sections with different skill levels that helped adjust it a bit for weaker puzzle people was a nice touch. And you know what? I'd love to see all the puzzles from here on out share this new twist. As for the players in the challenge, well, I have to say that Yanu sort of lucked out by ending up being completely safe from the vote. Yeah. However, I would have liked to have seen which tribe Tiffany would have picked for the win had Q ended up on the weaker team, which in the end wasn't all that weak. I mean, that challenge turned out to be enjoyably close. Soda impressed me again because of her team spirit. She knows she needs extra help for the physical parts of the challenges, but boy, if she isn't always there to help the others instead of just fading away into the background. And I have to say that I love Hunter. He gives everything, and it's just too bad that he'll never win. Maybe he can go on a winning streak like, was it Terry Dietz, and get all the way to the end, but then just miss? But then you get defined as a physical player who lacks in the other aspects of the game. And trust me, Venus would surely point that out, however untrue it might be. Now, I had changed my vote out from Tim to Kenzie only because I felt that she had been poisoned to the other two teams. When she was safe, well, I was actually happy to lose a vote-off point. The fact that I didn't have Mo as a safe point helped me get over my vote-off point loss as well because I feel that a 4-point week is a good week. 5 is, of course, better, but it's only 3-point weeks that leave me feeling like I totally missed the bus. Now, when it comes to Mo and Venus battling for next to be voted off, I was really hoping it would be Venus. She just rubs me the wrong way, and her little comment about the winners choking on the food reaffirmed why I don't care for her. Her tone was just way too serious for me. I hate to sound mean, yeah, right. But she appears to be a very weak player with a loud mouth that likes to be heard regardless. That will be how she's remembered in this game. But I do like how she buckles down on whatever she says, like she did with Soda. It helps secure that villain role even more. And Mo, honestly, she probably got way more credit than she deserved. I like her, but she and Tim are very much background players to me. It's a shame she's gone, but I think that anyone who went into Tribal thinking that they'd vote for Venus changed their mind after listening to Mo. It was a good try, I guess, but it came off more as a panic kind of chaos move. I'm glad she had a good time, though, and I probably won't say that when Venus goes. Of course, I don't think she is having a good time yet, so yay! The other thing I enjoyed was watching how the tribes merged and even didn't merge. I liked the name for a name deal because it helped reveal so much more than a bunch of names being thrown around. I suppose you could say that you had to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I think now that we're merged, Venus, Liz, and even Tim can fade into the background a bit. Maybe even Soda, who I'd love to see stay. I'm happy that Hunter has an idol now. He certainly deserved it after all he went through to get it. I'm still picking Maria as my new USB, but I have no clue which pair I'm picking to go. Q appears to be in trouble, and I think he may well be one of my picks. I like Charlie, and I don't want to see him go. I never really found Tevin to be all that. So he and Ben and Q and Venus and Tim, they're all, to me, completely disposable. I really like the rest of the cast, though, and the show is certainly picking up, so hey. And I guess that's it for me. Catch you all next week. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. That made me think one of the things that Mo mentioned in the exit interviews was that the interactions with Venus were, she described them as transactional, that name for a name. And she said you knew the minute you said someone's name, she was going to run and use that. Mm-hmm. And it would end up being used against you.
Yeah.
And so that transactional feel of how Venus is approaching the game is going to be yet another part of what's going to hold her back from success. And like, who was it? Tiffany said, that shisty feeling.
Yeah.
That transactional name for a name, and being able to spot that easily and being able to deal with it whenever the opportunity best presents. I won't be surprised if Venus hangs around a little bit because of that.
Well, I thought, too, they might focus on who they considered to be bigger threats. The only reason I would put Venus for next week is that I'm afraid she will upset her tribe so much that they will forget gameplay, forget everything else, just get her out.
Take this wild
and
card
away
off the
from
table.
them. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we know they already don't trust her.
And we're already
nobody's
prepared
really
to let her
trusts
go. Yeah.
But again, those kind of people can fall to the wayside when there's bigger targets out there. It's like, oh, nobody likes them. Nobody would vote for them even if they did get there. Blah, blah, blah. So they're not as big of a threat.
It's a rock in your shoe. The question becomes, how big a rock is it? How much is it going to hurt?
And
to
how
keep walking
focused
around?
Can they stay on their goal of
Target.
getting
Yeah.
further in the game?
Yeah. You know what's interesting about the next episode, too, is it's the first time we get to see individual performances. Since they're all performing against each other, there are two necklaces, there's two immunities. Mm-hmm. And therefore, there's going to be two winners, and then potentially, you and I were talking beforehand when we were prepping. There's going to that team's winner may win something for that team. A reward is what's happened in the past, or you get to sit in on the other team's tribal council.
Yeah.
So that you've got all the information.
Yeah, those are all assumptions that we've been making, is that, it will follow past things. They could throw us another curveball and not do it that way, but...
This will be the first time we get to see people perform individually and how they stack up from that perspective. Mm-hmm. And that's a balance challenge. Who do you think's got really good balance?
Well, Liz is short, and a lot of times...
Small women have had excellent
small
balance.
Women short.
Yeah.
You
I always
have
think
a
of Courtney
better,
in China.
Well, Courtney's not that short, but still, she did have good balance. But she's got long legs, too, so she's not really short. But Liz is low down, and sometimes it's better. You have better center of gravity or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so she and Kinsey both are short, so you would think that
and
they
Maria.
could do well. I don't... Well, she's 5'2", she said. So
Liz said she was 5, but when you're looking at them,
she's
they
shorter than me. Yay!
Look like the same height.
Somebody shorter than me.
Yeah. A big part of it, obviously, is how the teams get split up. Since they're voting individually, that's going to decide. That's going to be the primary factor in who goes.
I expect Hunter to do well. Come on.
Is he going to have good balance, too?
I would think so. He seems not, he's not
to your point,
buff,
he's the tallest.
But still, I still think he's so active. He's naturally conditioned physically. He doesn't go work out at the gym and get all buff, and he just seems to have a good balance, and that because he's just naturally so active.
Yeah, that's well, we get to see.
That means balance too. I think he will be.
Yeah, he's definitely demonstrated some dexterity. Certainly demonstrated the ability to think on your feet. But
Tiffany's strong.
That doghouse in the water. kind of deal where they're standing on the planks and they get smaller and you're less stable as you move up, and then if you get up to the top, they'll take you to standing on one foot so you're not out there forever.
Yeah. Even Soda, I think, could do okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about Tevin. I don't know about Q being well. Charlie, maybe. Ben,
No.
No.
I don't think Ben's got good balance.
Yeah.
For some reason, it doesn't translate that well.
Venus could, and I think a lot of them could be fair.
So it might be exciting, yeah.
I don't think Q will be. I don't think, like I said, Ben. I'm not even sure about Tevin. I'm not sure he'll do that well.
Well, he may have some dancing experience given the theater.
Well, maybe, yeah. They needed Banu. He's the dancer.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Pass.
I don't know about Tim. I wouldn't think he'd do that great, but he might. Who knows?
Yeah, he's been surprising all along with other performances.
He's seems very strong in his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be helpful. Anyway, who knows?
Exciting.
We'll find out on Wednesday.
Hey, big thank you to everybody who sent in their feedback this week and shared your thoughts and predictions and who your USB changes might be. We enjoyed all that. We appreciate hearing from all of you. And we'd also like to say a big thanks to Melissa, Hazel, Christy, Erica, and Tara for your donations. We greatly appreciate that. That goes towards our operating cost, and it's a big help. Thank you so much for that.
And if you're playing in JSFL, remember to make your Week 7 picks for 2 people who will be voted off and 4 people who you think will be safe at the end of the episode. This is also the only opportunity you will have this season to choose a new USB 5 if yours is gone like ours.
Mm-hmm.
We've already lost our USB 24, which is Ultimate Survivor bonus and the amount of points. If they've already been voted out, then you get to choose somebody new. If they're still in the game, but you don't think they have a chance to win and you want to let go of that 24 points, you have the opportunity to choose a new person for a possible 10-point bonus. So make sure, though, before you change it, because you can't go back to 24-point bonus once you've switched it.
Yeah,
So
you make a choice, you make a change, you immediately lose 14 points. That's it.
That's right. Anything else?
I think we're good. Looking forward to the episode next week, seeing individual performances and how that plays out. Of course, we get a better idea of how they perform individually after we've made the USB update.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. We'll be back on Wednesday with our next recap. Have a good one.